Hey mamas, welcome to the Mom on Point podcast. I'm Valen. I will be your host every Tuesday. This is a fun, safe space where we can discuss motherhood in all its complexity. This includes loss, friendship, mental health, wellness, parenting, marriage, and as a postpartum doula, the postpartum period, and also identities. Throughout our lives, and especially motherhood, we experience so many identity shifts and changes, and I think we need more conversations surrounding the hard stuff, the things that matter most. And some of those things are really uncomfortable and no one likes to talk about it, but I do. So download this episode, play it in the car while doing errands or just hanging out at home. And I hope you enjoy this episode. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome back to the Mom on Point podcast. I'm so happy you're here today. I'm kind of just getting on here and winging it. I've had a lot in my brain lately and I just can't seem to get it down on paper. I just never have paper around, or I'm in the car, I'm in the shower, and it's just crazy. So, something I've been thinking about a lot as a mom is how we're not taught how to be moms, how throughout our whole life, it seems we're not taught like that we can create who we are, that we can create our own identity. We can choose who we are. We don't have to let circumstances dictate who we're going to be, who we are now, who we'll be in the future, or even just dictate our daily choices that are leading to building our identity. I had some thought, like even as a little girl, I grew up with a lot of terrible messaging from my parents, mostly my mother. A lot of the stuff was terrible, and it was her being a martyr, sacrificing everything in her martyrdom. I mean, she would blame all of the things she wasn't doing on her children. So the message that me and my brothers got was that it was our fault that she was failing. It was our fault that she couldn't do the things she wanted to do. It was our fault that she couldn't figure it out. And how terrible of a message is that when you're a little girl and you're just basically told that you're preventing your mom from being able to live her life. I felt terrible. I just remember, never feeling like a good kid because these are the messages that I would get. And then as a teenager, my relationship with my mom got worse and worse and worse because she was just volatile. My therapist described her as being a narcissist with borderline personality disorder. And that's just for me and years of experience. And, they could kind of tell me what was going on because she'll never get help. It's always everybody else. So, but as a teenager, my identity, my mom would say things to my dad behind my back. When I was right there in the other room, like, oh my God, can you see how big she's getting? You guys, literally, I was the smallest that I was then than I've ever been in my life. I was a beautiful girl. I was vibrant. I had so many friends. I was social. I had good grades. It was right before things started going downhill for me and I started making really bad choices. But then the voice that I had behind me was, she's getting fat. She's, hanging out with dirty people. She's a slut. Like my own mom called me a slut. Like, what the hell is that? Like my mom didn't even know me. She didn't spend time with me. She used me as a pawn in my parents' relationship and their divorce. She was so cruel and she was so critical. And that made my identity, again, as a teenage girl, taking in everything around me, that, again, I was unworthy. I was terrible. I was taking things away from my mom and other people. I needed to be small and silent. I needed to be skinny to be valuable or worthy. Um, that was just my upbringing. Can you imagine like me just tackling this, starting to tackle this? I think around 25 is when I started going to therapy for real, and really diving into personal development. My first book was Jen Sincero's You Are a Badass. Um, and I spent my time crying reading that book because I'm like, how come nobody told me this stuff? I just I just can't understand it. And when you become a mom, your identity is again shifted into something completely different. And we're not taught how to hang on to ourselves while going into motherhood. You know, a lot of what we see in social media and things is like, we're supposed to give our entire life to our kids. That's what being a good mom is. And I just want to put my foot down and say, hell no, it's not. If I'm not me, who's going to be their mom? You have to come first. And again, if you know, from everything that I've said, you guys, like, I always thought putting myself first, or in any position really, first, last, whatever, just taking care of myself at all was selfish. Because I saw my mom uh, never take care of herself. She never went to the doctor, never went to the dentist, never saw a therapist, never got nice clothes. Always, you know, the only thing she would ever do for herself was her makeup and her hair. But she would wear the most terrible clothing. It used to really embarrass me. But anyway, sorry. Anyways, so it's so important to learn how to take care of ourselves. And that is something that I'm working on every day. But this year has been a year of me. And although I kind of lost my way a little bit, the year has gone by so fast and I got off track and we've had so many life things happening. I got right back on track. Right now, this week, I'm working on my water intake, and that seems funny and small. So, drinking water this week is my thing, no matter how small that seems, but it helps with my digestion, it helps my cravings, it helps my sleep, it helps my skin. Drinking water is one amazing thing I can do for myself every day. Um, but what can you do every day? What's one little simple thing you can do every day that makes you feel good and in turn makes you able to choose you and make choices for you as an individual and not just a mom? You know, like, I'll give you an example. For me right now is an identity, okay? So I identify as a postpartum doula and a mom and a wife and a dog mom and a house owner and a personal development junkie and a best friend and a hype girl for all of my business friends, um, a bookkeeper, a chore doer. Like, these are all things that are part of my identity. And you can tell that they're all kind of general. And a lot of those things are not just about me, they're about other people. So the point is to build in an individual identity of just you. I realized that my motherhood could not be a happy one unless I was happy with myself. And I spent the first few years of motherhood in this really deep, dark place that I never thought I would get out of. I was so miserable and I cried a lot. And my husband was in the Navy. So in the beginning, my God, my kids would go take a nap and I would cry in the shower. I would cry and cry and cry. And then I would try to read You Are a Badass. And then I would try to pick myself up and take the kids outside to get some fresh air, because that is another way that I found to survive, was being outside. And then I would do it again, right? Wake up the next day, husband is on deployment. I am miserable and alone, and I'm in a Washington State, all my family's in Michigan. So you have to take care of you. And I know that that is something that is also being said, but what's not really being talked about is how to do it realistically, because we do all have very busy lives. Oh my God, today right now we have one car. We're working on getting a second one in the next couple weeks, but I work nights, overnights with my families, my newborns and my mamas and my dads. And my husband works during the day. So I'm at home with Emmett, my baby, my 2-year-old during the day. I walk in the morning to take the girls to school. We come home, we have morning time. He goes out for a nap. I do some work, I do some chores, I do laundry. And then about 3:30 we go, and I walk to pick up the girls, and we come home and I get dinner ready, and my husband comes home at 6, and then I go to work at 7. And guys, life is crazy. And I totally understand that. And the only way you'll change putting yourself first is by making that choice, is by choosing you. And it's not selfish, because everybody is going to, I can't think of the word, but everybody is going to be able to see that you're feeling better and you're more you and you're happy. And that is going to rub off on your family and your friends and your coworkers. It all matters. Believe me, it all matters. So something you can do today is something that takes care of you. It doesn't have to be big. To me, for today and this week, is water. Like, I'm focusing on my water because it makes me feel good. And when I feel good, I'm happy. And then that happiness goes into my family. And that's really what we want. So I hope you're all having a great day. I love you all, and I hope that this helped. I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for joining me with the Mom on Point podcast. I hope you found some inspiration, some joy, maybe some new information that can help you heal, feel better, or just get through the day. If you've loved the podcast, please like and comment and let me know what you think. I read and respond to all comments personally, and it really helps others discover me who may need my message too. You can also find me on Instagram at ValenWeb. You can email me at info.valenweb@gmail.com. Again, that's info.vallenwebb@gmail.com. Or you can check out my website where I have tons of free resources and freebies at valenweb.com. I look forward to hearing from you. I'll add all these things on the show notes. Feel free to check them out anytime. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Tuesday.